Max, what's your reaction to him being let go and obviously their AD?
Once you point a camera at college basketball players and you start selling advertisement on TV to watch them, you have commodified them, period. So the idea that assistant coaches are selling out maybe the kid's best interest and pocketing money, that's what happens when the players aren't making the money. There is money to be, there's money floating around, except the players, treated mostly as commodities, aren't getting their fair share. And so, and by the way, does it much matter which school these kids go to, really? They're going to top flight basketball programs. If they're good enough, they'll make the league. I kind of feel bad, even though they're exploiting the kids, for the assistant coaches who
they
everyone's
have to do the dirty work, essentially.
They don't have to, but they choose to. But if it's not them, it will be someone else. Rick Pitino is now the face of it. If you overturn any rock, look under any rock in college, in the NCAA, you're going to find some dirt because there is huge revenue and it's not getting to the appropriate place. And this is a way that the kind of underground economy is funneling money to where it's supposed to go.
That's the macro perspective. Let's get micro here for a second. Rick Pitino, who I profoundly respect, two-time national champion, 7 appearances to the Final Four, deserves to be out at Louisville.
Yes.
It is that simple. 2010, woman tries to extort him for money because he's conducting himself in a salacious fashion, and she threatened to dime him out. He dimes her out instead. She ends up serving 7 years and getting sentenced to 7 years in prison. 2015 is, sex for play scandal involving an assistant coach. He claimed to have no knowledge of it. Now this. Listen, I've said this on many occasions, and I'll say it again. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose, all right? It's not a damn mongoose. It's a duck. And I mean, at some point in time, you found yourself in this situation. You've got to own it. Now, we have to look at this. What are we talking about here? This isn't the NCAA. It's hypocritical as they are, because it's not amateur sports, not with the money that they're making. These are federal charges. Bribery, conspiracy, solicitation of bribes, honest services fraud, conspiracy, honest service fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, travel act conspiracy. The U.S. Department of Justice said each of the coaches, 4 coaches, not even Louisville, what you talk about here, each of the coaches faces a maximum sentence of 80 years in prison.
Because they're getting federal money, those schools.
Exactly, because they're getting federal money.
So the FBI is involved.
And so when you consider all of that, and you're Rick Pitino, if nothing else, dereliction of duty, not being on top of it, this is bad. You got the agent, Andy Miller. You've got some of these folks the FBI raided his office. We don't know what connection he has to these coaches. These coaches that have been arrested, all right, and indicted, they're from Nike schools, yet they were doing work for Adidas. I mean, look, this is bad, man. This is very, very bad. And for Rick Pitino to have another athlete, we're talking about $100,000 going to an athlete who ultimately commits to coming to Louisville, and you know nothing. Now, listen, we ain't all boo-boo the fools, but just in case we are, okay, at the very least, you sat up there and ran a loose ship. And it's a shame that when you consider Krzyzewski, and outside of Krzyzewski and maybe Roy Williams, this is the most celebrated coach presently in all of college basketball. To find yourself in this situation, it's egregious. And oh, by the way, the AD, John Jurich, I was told, I got to double check this, I was told his daughter actually works for Adidas. I mean, it just smells.
And why does stuff really hit the fan? Maybe because you're double dipping, and now all of a sudden it's a big deal. Wait, Nike and Adidas? Look,
everything smells.
The point is about college basketball and football, for that matter. If I know what the going rate is for a top high school recruit, that means that's the going rate. That means within a certain number of dollars, you can't say they're all doing it, but it's similar to me, my own feeling, if someone asked me what percentage is doing it, it's similar to PEDs in baseball pre-Mitchell report. Most are doing it.
None of this is new to me as a guy that covered high school sports in the early 90s, that saw some of these marquee athletes end up at programs, believing, hearing about stuff, getting paid, families being taken care of. This I didn't even consider it breaking news, because I'm like, listen, but this about Pitino is because guess what? You don't hear the name of marquee coaches having such a loose ship. Pitino I'm sad because I think he's such a great coach and I like him, but to even find your name associated with something, even tacitly, even indirectly, is inexcusable for a coach of his magnitude. He has to go.
We've got 11 lead stories today.
He has to go.
It's unbelievable.